So it's safe to say that Bop House has been through a lot of drama over the past few months, as nearly every big YouTuber has talked about the drama and borderline illegal things that they do in their content. Today, I'm going to be starting at the very beginning of the Bop House trilogy to finally understand all the drama. So hit that like button if you dislike the Bop House. If you don't, then you're basically saying you like them, and let's get started. Horrible day for the unemployed. One of Jack Doherty's girlfriends, Camilla Araujo, is undergoing a lawsuit from one of the girls in the Blond house, and let me tell you, it's diabolical.
I literally have like screenshots and proof of women speaking up and DMing me and sending me proof of him doing these absolutely absurd things to them, right? 5 hours later, I get a phone call. Lawsuit.
Absolutely wild stuff. But seriously, why do people even care about this shit?
2 lawsuits in 2 months is f***ing insane.
F***ing insane, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what else is f***ing insane? Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Walmart WestJet here, and today we're once again going to be talking about Camilla Araujo, Jack Doherty's side piece. So just a couple months ago, she created a brand new content house called the Bop House with fellow OF model Sophie Rain. Now this house would absolutely blow up all over TikTok, with many of their videos getting tens of millions of views. Now you're probably thinking, if these videos are getting this many views consistently, this must be some premium content. However, you'd be absolutely wrong.
Excuse me guys, what are you doing? Oh my god, is that a Starbucks cake pop? Boop. Starbucks cake pop? Boop. Starbucks cake pop? Boop. Boop.
Yeah, this shit's fucking ass. And let me tell you, it doesn't get much better. If anything, the content actually gets worse. I'm talking way worse. And to be honest, Camilla is the catalyst of all of it. Because over the past year, she's garnered a pretty terrible reputation, constantly using her family members to promote her adult content, asking them extremely uncomfortable questions that you typically would never want to ask a relative, especially to her brother, which has sparked tons of controversy.
How does it feel to have a sister that has an OF?
My friends always ask me if it's pink, but I don't really know what they mean by that. Do you know?
Who's gonna tell him? It's just weird to use your brother to promote content that he himself can't even legally consume. If you guys don't know, her brother was only like 15 years old when he filmed most of these videos, which means that he's 3 years too young to consume any of the content his sister actually makes. It's also funny how she's always getting on him about his grades in school, as if her job requires her to have any sort of IQ.
I mean to when you're failing your classes, yeah.
I'm not failing.
A D.
It's not failing.
That's a D, it's failing.
F is failing.
A D is failing.
For you it is, because you're an A+ child.
The only A+ she's getting is on fucking OnlyFans.com.
Right I am.
Shut the hell up. You're literally doing your career is in only. You can't be talking you're selling pictures of whatever. You can't be saying all that studying was for what?
I mean, is it really worth selling your body online every day if you're getting made fun of by this kid in your own fucking content? Like, come on. But I mean, regardless, Camilla has gained over 8 million subscribers on her YouTube channel, almost exclusively making this dog shit content. She would also collaborate with many other OF creators, especially the ones in Jack Doherty's Goon Squad.
Jack! Is it pink? Is it pink?
Mine or your sister's?
You know the question. Is it pink?
Oh, I know your sister's is pink, yeah.
I hope this kid's getting paid a lot of money for this shit. Not only because what he's doing is probably violating the law in some way, but for the torture that he definitely endures in school.
Alright, well, I guess you win. What do you want?
Yeah, bro's fit's actually shorty repellent.
Wait, just where do you want to go? Why does he always do that, and why does he always wear pink?
Because you forced him to? Now, despite her gaining nearly 10 million subscribers on YouTube, people would quickly get tired of her persona, and her views would begin to drop tremendously, which ultimately pressured her to make the Bop House and try to reclaim her dying reputation. Everything seemed to be going too well at the start. Each of the Bop House videos would get tens of millions of views, and I'm sure everyone in the house is making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. However, surprisingly, they wouldn't go without sparking major controversy, the main of which being with the Blond house, which is just another content house composed of OF models. If anything, I'd say that they're worse than the Bop House because they try so hard to be just like them.
Really? Yeah, we're filming.
Bum, bum, bum.
Like, holy scripted.
There's a girl on TikTok and she loves homeless people.
Oh, get her! Oh, no!
These poor gas station employees just trying to make an honest living gotta deal with this shit. I mean, I honestly feel bad for them, bro. Two OF models making literally 100 times their salary, brain rotting in the front of the fucking establishment. It doesn't get much worse than this, let's be honest. So make sure you guys are all subscribed. Only around 3% of you are. And let's dive into this goofy drama.
Camilla Araujo was just kicked out of the Bop House.
The Bop House. Shut the fuck up.
Camilla is the leader of the Bop House, and she recently called out Sophie Rain and the Blond House for copying their idea of a house full of fallen off content creators.
Okay, but I mean, it's the internet. Literally everyone copies each other. I understand why Camilla could be a little bit upset, but at the same time, this type of stuff happens all the time. And besides that, why is bro using the cringe TikTok voice? Fallen off content creator.
The Blond House was offended by this and decided to sue Camilla, and now Camilla can no longer go back to the Bop House until the lawsuit is settled.
Okay, this is just completely cringe. The entire internet is known for people copying each other basically all the time. To be honest, that's a well-known fact. And their house came out directly after the Bop House was announced. And after simply being called out for copying, they decide to sue the Bop House. I'm obviously not a Bop House supporter, but that's an extremely cringe response.
Unemployed are furious about this because Camilla was not allowed to appear in the highly anticipated Bop House and Bruz House collab video. Do you think Camilla will ever return to the Bop House?
She actually did return to the Bop House shortly after, despite quote-unquote legally not being allowed to, as one of the other Bops living in the house made an entire TikTok talking about it.
Camilla did not leave. She is still in the house. We just legally can't be posting things or talking much about it, but no one in the house has beef. Nothing's going on. We just gotta lay low for a little bit.
I'm gonna be honest, I would not be surprised at all if this entire drama was completely fake from the start. And if anything, the houses are working together to get as many views as possible. Cause I mean, would we expect anything less from these degenerate TikTokers? Especially considering that they definitely know their audience is extremely young and will believe basically anything that they preach out to them. I mean, other Bop House members were literally contradicting each other, making everything way more confusing.
We all love Camilla so much, and we're so sad that she had to leave the Bop House. But unfortunately, she did leave the Bop House because she didn't want any of us to get into any legal issues.
Wait, I thought you guys said she's still in the Bop House. What the fuck is going on here? Like I said before, we're literally hearing two different stories from two different people, which just makes this like 10 times less believable. And then we got Camilla over here making a million TikToks in the situation, absolutely farming this drama for engagement, and in the end, clearly no one knows what's going on. However, it wouldn't take her very long to come back to the Bop House after the totally real lawsuit finally concluded and continue filming the same dog shit content she was making before. Like, no way people watch this stuff and are like, oh my gosh, she's back. There's no way people actually get insanely hyped about the return of Camilla Araujo into the Bop House. It's not like she joined f***ing FaZe Clan in 2016. She's literally rejoining the Bop House. People are not invested in this shit. Camilla said she's planning on making a response to all this drama once she's legally able to move back into the Bop House. Although, I could see this just being a big publicity stunt to obviously try and get them more views. As over the past few days that this lawsuit has allegedly been in action, views on Camilla and also the Bop House videos have completely skyrocketed once again, proving that this is either a real lawsuit or just some crazy marketing scheme. Horrible year for Sophie Rain supporters. The Bop House is currently under fire, and Sophie only made a slight 43 million last year, most of which coming from one single guy that Sophie has never even seen the face of.
Charlie, he's one of my top biggest spenders. He is the biggest spender. He spent 4.7 million in the course of a year.
Holy shit, for that much money, she must suck him off through the screen.
Have you spoken to him? Like, do you do like a video chat with him?
I haven't yet, just through only we talk.
Wow.
He could have bought literally 100 homes in Africa, shit, about 20 nice ones in Texas, yet he spends band after band on OnlyFans.com. And like, at what point does this not get creepy? You got this guy giving you millions of dollars, clearly absolutely obsessed with you, and you've never seen the guy in your life. I mean, that's gotta make you worry some weird shit's gonna go down. But anyways, let's try to hit 1,000 likes, and make sure you all subscribe. Late last year, Sophie would announce the Bop House, forming a team of some of the most talented OF models in the world to create content every single day. And I'm gonna be honest, the content they made was actually god awful, mainly due to the fact that none of them know how to talk to a fucking camera.
Alright y'all, guess who I am, okay? We're making the men version of the Bop House, and I made the let him cook me.
Yeah, just kill me now. Dude, they're all fucking horrible at this shit. Like, how are you gonna make content for a living at quite literally the highest pay grade possible and be this terrible at talking in front of a camera? I've seen porn acting better than this. You know how cringe it is when you're watching someone and they're trying so hard to be someone that they're not? That's like watching any Bop House video ever.
All right, we want to make Bop House merch, but we need your help. We don't know what designs to make.
Guys, we need you to create designs, the colors, the fabric, everything.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm thinking you get a white tee and then just slap this in the center. Pretty lore accurate if you ask me. If you guys need t-shirts, you know, hit me up. I got you guys. And Sophie's probably got you guys too. She has a lot of free time. We know that.
Sophie, that's an incredible amount of money. And for a lot of people, they're thinking, how on earth, with just the volume, how do you reach that level, and what would set you apart?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Nothing sets her apart from the other OF models. Matter of fact, she still sucks at dancing. Worse than most of them, might I add.
It's just a lot of hard work. That's all I can say is I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly making content. Like, you really have to stick to a strict schedule.
Right. Yeah, this looks like a really hard life. Way harder than a 9-to-5. Wake up, dance for about 30 minutes, and then go back to sleep. Something that most of us truly just couldn't comprehend doing.
You have already kind of marketed yourself. You're saying you're a virgin.
Not a lot of people online claim that they're virgin. I think that it's really awesome that I still am.
She's been claiming she's a virgin for literal months now, and I'm pretty sure the only person who believes her is herself. Like, I don't even think her friends believe her. Now, despite all the people hating on her online, whether that be for the insane amount of money she makes, or for the fact that she may or may not be lying about being a virgin, her luck in the past week or so had seemed to run dry. The Bop House had been broken into.
I just bought this house. This is my house. And tried to get the other girl to leave before.
So basically what happened is this random guy broke into the Bop House with a bunch of his suitcases, put all his stuff inside of Sophie's room, and told everyone that Sophie is his wife and his last name is Rain. Now, I would say I feel bad for him, but at the same time, we gotta remember that these girls are profiting off of mentally ill men. This is basically their entire fan base. These types of people are how they make the bulk of their money. However, with this, you really have to think about the risk that you're in, as these types of people have been known to do some crazy shit. Like, I don't understand how they're so surprised.
I'm sure you guys have all heard about what happened at the Bop House. Yes, it's very real, and I've been actually dealing with this for a couple of weeks now because he's just been harassing me online, and I never realized that this was gonna happen.
If he's been harassing you for weeks, then why haven't you said anything about this? This could have been sorted way sooner if you would have just contacted someone. Motherfuckers think that making a living off of essentially leading men on in OnlyFans DMs isn't gonna lead them to do some crazy shit to you. They would actually do a podcast a few days later explaining the actual story of what happened.
How far does this go back? Like, when did this all start?
Months. I never realized, but he's been DMing me this whole time and just sending me like really weird messages, I guess you could say.
Like, what kind of weird messages?
Like almost insinuating that he was gonna show up somewhere.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, what she's saying here really doesn't make much sense at all. You'd think that if he was giving hints on showing up to her house, she would say something to him sooner like, hey, you really can't do that. However, as far as we know, she never told him he couldn't go to her house. And sure, it's obviously common sense, you don't just show up to random people's houses, but to some people that are mentally ill, common sense just isn't really understood. And in this situation, he thought it was okay to go to her house, probably because she never told him that he couldn't.
And he is insisting that his last name is Rain and that he's married to me. And
this man told the cops he was married to you.
Yes, he's married to me, and his last name is Rain, and he was coming to come see his wife, and he doesn't understand why this is all happening because he owns the house, and basically moved in, broke in, brought in suitcases, and moved into my room at the Bop House.
Did he unpack?
Yes, he put stuff in drawers.
Okay, nah, I'm gonna be real, this is actually wild. Bro rolled up on the house, unpacked all his stuff, essentially moved into the house, and he's never even seen the girl in real life. And apparently she's never even talked to the guy. Again, this is just a downside of doing this kind of content. A lot of the consumers are mentally ill people like this who just don't have common sense.
So he called the stalker's mom, and he was like, hey, your son is arrested for all this, blah, 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 like, you need to come pick him up, essentially. And she was like, oh, did he break into Sophie Rain's house? Essentially. She thought that he was coming down here to get engaged to me.
There's no way she actually thought that.
That's what the officer told me this morning.
Right, but there's no way that, okay, mind you, this man has
charges pending in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He has charges pending in a lot of different
Texas.
states. This is a sick individual and a sick probably family, because the fact that she knew and told the officer, oh, is he meeting his wife Sophie Rain?
No, that's literally
delusional.
That's what the officer, like, that's the vibe that she was giving.
This is one thing that I definitely agree with them on here, is that if his mom knew that he was going to meet Sophie Rain, and she was also under the impression that they were going to get married and everything was going to be okay, I mean, that just makes zero sense. On top of the fact that he himself was under the impression that Sophie wanted to marry him back. I mean, there's no way you can get more delusional than that. I mean, as far as we know, she's never DM'd this guy back. Sophie has literally never communicated with this guy in her life, and he thinks that they are literally married.
For girls that work in the industry, we get a lot of crazy DMs, we get a lot of crazy encounters, and it's almost something that unfortunately we're used to.
Doesn't justify it.
It doesn't justify it, but we're so used to insane behavior that we just kind of would rather not be confrontational about it and just kind of be like, whatever.
This is another thing that I definitely need to bring up, is I'm sure these girls are very much used to people being really weird in their DMs, and I'm sure most of the time they just go ahead and brush it off, because probably 99.9% of people aren't actually going to do the stuff that they say they're going to do in the messages. However, it only takes that 0.1% of people that are actually crazy enough to go out and do it, and unfortunately in this situation it happened to Sophie Rain. I also want to say that I am extremely sorry for Sophie Rain and everyone else in the house. If any of you guys are seeing this, I hope you all get through this safely, and I'm glad no one was actually hurt from this intruder, because genuinely, nobody deserves to go through anything like this. The current Piper Rockelle situation is much more disturbing than meets the eye. Piper Rockelle would blow up on TikTok just a couple years ago for making many viral dancing videos on the platform. Now, despite her being only 17 years old, many of these videos would actually be quite suggestive, sparking a lot of controversy as a large percentage of Piper's audience are much younger kids. All these dances that Piper does on a daily basis sets a bad influence for her young fan base, which would continue to get worse as Piper would even collaborate with the Bop House, a content house filled with creators who make videos for adults, if you're catching my drift. Again, Piper is 17 years old, which has made many people on the internet critical of her making content with these creators. So hit that like button if you hate the Bop House, and let's check this all out. This would all start around 3 months ago whenever Piper would make a TikTok titled, "This is my audition, if you know you know." Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what she was talking about, as around this time the Bop House was absolutely exploding on TikTok. Therefore, it would only be a matter of time before they caught wind of Piper's video, and they would begin making jokes about inviting her to the house. If we invited Piper to the Bop House, she's 17.
Here we go. Count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty.
This clip in itself would obviously spark a lot of controversy, as they were literally joking about inviting a 17-year-old to the house. Even bringing that stuff up in the first place is weird.
Who are you thinking is going to be the next member?
I've been seeing a lot of comments talking about Piper.
I really don't like where this is going.
Piper.
She's so cute.
Isn't she like 17?
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think she's so cute. Like, I've seen her TikTok.
Yeah, it literally doesn't matter. If she's under the age of 18, she shouldn't be making content with OF creators, period. Sure, nothing she's doing in the content is illegal, but it's just really fucking weird.
You know, nothing wrong with her, but I think just, you can't come here if you're under the age of 18. Like, that's, you know, it's not gonna work.
We love you.
Just, you know, now's not the right time, and, you know, maybe trying something more appropriate for your age. Disney Channel audition.
Them saying this on the podcast would make it even more weird when just a couple months later, Piper would be seen on the official Bop House channel at the house making content with the girls. Like, it really does get to a point. How many times are they gonna cry about me being in the Bop House? Like, motherfucker, you being there making content with them in the first place is weird. Like I said, you may not be doing anything illegal, but it's just weird for her to be there in the first place. Why does she literally have the least amount of clothing on? Okay, now, where do you honestly draw the line? I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh, well, she turns 18 in a couple months. Like, homie, it literally doesn't matter. If she's below the age of 18, she can't be making content with these people.
Piper, look at this comment.
Is Piper joining the Bop House? Oh my god, I mean, like, people want me to, like, no,
Girl,
I mean, like, come on.
you're
not even 18 yet, girl.
literally like how many months?
Piper, no.
Yeah, we need to put this guy on a watch list ASAP. Motherfucker is counting down the months for her to turn 18, bro. Now you're probably thinking, for her to be like this, she has to have some terrible parenting in her life. And believe it or not, you'd be 100% right. Ever since she's been a young teenager, her mom's basically been exploiting her for money. Not just that, but Piper's mom has allegedly been abusing the friends that she makes content with. This would all be exposed on Inside Edition, where Piper's friends would open up about the situation.
Piper's mom, Tiffany Smith, is under fire by all these former squad members for claims of financial exploitation. In a lawsuit, they accuse her of exposing them to a physical, emotional, verbal, and sometimes sexually abusive environment.
I'm gonna ask one question. Are we even surprised by any of this? I mean, we see the kind of stuff that Piper does in her content, and especially the kind of stuff that she wears, and I feel like any parent in their right mind would never let their kids do the kind of stuff that Piper has done in her content at her age.
All of our innocence was just swiped from us.
She would like run around and say sexual things to you.
Were you ever asked to pose provocatively or to wear things you were uncomfortable wearing?
Oh yeah, Tiffany would always tell me to go up into Piper's closet and get something that's more tight and revealing.
Okay, bro, now that's absolutely insane. But it has to make me question, like, how do their parents not find out about this kind of stuff? I mean, they have to be watching the videos, right? It's not like they're just sending their kids to Piper's house to film a video and paying no mind to the content that's actually being produced. If my kid was making content with literally anybody, I would watch nearly every video that they make, especially if they were that young.
Sophie Fergie says Tiffany once encouraged her to pose in a towel.
Sophie, how old were you when you were asked to dress provocatively?
I believe I was 11 or 12.
Oh, hell nah. If this is true, it might be GG's, bro. We gotta lock Tiffany up.
We didn't know a lot of the things that were going on. We weren't allowed to be there.
Fuck you mean you weren't allowed to fucking be there? So you're dropping your kid off to film a YouTube video, and you're being advised not to be there while they're filming. Not just that, but you're completely oblivious to the kind of stuff they're putting your kid through. Like, do you even watch the videos at all?
These two former squad moms say they're really upset.
I'm mortified by what she's done to other children.
Jennifer Bryant is Walker's mother.
It needs to be exposed, and she needs to be held responsible for what she's doing.
I'm not trying to defend anyone in this situation, especially not Tiffany, but there's no way their parents didn't know that something like this was going on. Like, how do you have no idea that your kid's dressing provocatively in these videos, especially when you're the one dropping them off at Piper's house to record?
Ann Henry is the co-founder of Biz Parents, a nonprofit watchdog group that works to protect the rights of child actors.
This whole world of social media, particularly influencers, is definitely ripe for abuse. The bottom line here is that Tiffany Rockelle Smith does need to be held responsible.
Today, all these teens say they still care about Piper and just want what's best for her.
I believe that Piper is a victim. Piper did nothing. Piper's completely innocent. It's all Tiffany.
Piper's mom is definitely the one to be blamed in this situation. However, I still can't stop thinking about all these other kids' parents. Like, a piece of research would even be conducted saying that sometimes apparently these kids would be working 11 to 12 hours a day. Absolutely insane hours. But like, how do you let your kid do something like that? If they're gone for that many hours a day, I feel like in the back of your head, you have to think that there's something going on or something wrong.
Now, when people go, how can that happen? These YouTube videos are unregulated, right? They're not SAG-AFTRA. There's not a tutor on the set. Parents aren't on the set. So some of the allegations are that these kids claim that they were asked to work 10, 12 hours, no tutors, no parents, and that led to an environment where they were taken advantage of and exploited. Now, we reached out to the mother of the YouTube star, and she did not return our calls, but she denies all the allegations in court papers.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course she's gonna deny all the allegations. If she gets caught doing this kind of stuff, then her entire life is basically ruined. However, with Piper going to the Bop House, I honestly think it's at the point where Piper's on board with all of this too. She knows that once she turns 18, if she makes an OnlyFans, there's a ton of creepy old men that are gonna buy her content on the spot.
Every day I wake up and open my eyes. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm a very grateful person. Believe it or not, I'm grateful for the food I eat, the clothes I get to wear, the roof over my head, and I'm proud of you guys because this was all you. This wasn't me. This was you, and I'm proud of you.
Well, at least she's PR trained because, I mean, that is the most generic response I've ever heard. Let's be honest, yeah, if you didn't have your fans, you wouldn't be able to live the same lifestyle you do. But I guarantee you she's just saying this to make her fans feel like they're part of something. And at that point, why doesn't she join the Bop House? It just just means more money. Other than that though, there was actually a streamer that I covered just the other day who got all his content by basically harassing random people in South Korea, and now he's facing nearly 10 years in South Korean prison. Absolutely wild stuff. Make sure to click the video on screen and also like this video if you made it this far. I mean, like, why haven't you liked it already, bro? Like, just like it.